TIFU by thinking divorce was an April Fool's gag. Let me preface this off by blaming all of you, the entirety of Reddit, for desensitizing me and giving me major trust issues on April Fool's Day. So here it goes. Yesterday I got a group text from my wife's, Sarah, side of the family stating there was an emergency family meeting happening that night over dinner at my mother-in-law's, Barb, house. I immediately had April Fool's Day senses starting to tingle, but we haven't all got together since Christmas, so I overlooked it and said we, my wife and I, were in. We were the last to arrive, and it was pretty somber when we walked in. We all sat down at the table and my wife's brother, Tim, informed the family that his wife, Ashley, has been having an affair, and they are divorcing. The affair was with a longtime close family friend, Chris, who lived a block away. Chris' wife, Jen, had caught them when she came home early one day last week and broke the news to my brother-in-law Tim. Both families have been friends for years. They live less than a block from each other, they each have been married for 15 plus years, have 4 kids right around the same age. Honestly, I have always thought both of them were picture-perfect families. Hell, all 4 of them and their kids were at our house 2 weeks ago for a BBQ. Anyways, after airing a lot of dirty laundry and their plans to divorce, how it could affect future family functions, and opening it up to the group of any questions, there was silence. I broke the silence with laughter and a slow clap, saying this was the best April Fool's gag I've ever seen, but I wasn't falling for it. I told Ashley, and especially Tim, they need to consider going into theater. Their performances were top-notch and tears seemed genuine. Being the newest member of the family, my wife and I married 6 months ago, this was probably not the best thing to say in hindsight. I probably should not have said anything. Everyone in the room looked horrified. My mother-in-law, who had been crying the entire time, lost all composure. She left the room in hysterics and did not return before we left. Tim just shook his head, and his cheating wife actually let out a brief chuckle before calling me out for being a dumbass for thinking this was a ruse, then berating me for being so insensitive. The rest of the family sat in silence, shaking their heads as my wife berated me for trying to make a joke out of a serious situation. I'm still dumbfounded. In hindsight, I probably should have sat in silence, but I honestly still feel like I was calling out an April Fool's gag. TLDR, my brother-in-law's wife has been cheating on him. They told the family they are getting divorced. I broke the awkward silence with a slow clap and laughter, saying I'm no April Fool. Edit: wow, this blew up. Thanks for the golds and silver. The cheating wife berating you for being insensitive is the funniest part of it all. Mayo edit. Op, if you're leaving it up you might as well post the video. YOLO. And no one said a thing. I definitely feel like him on the bottom rung of the totem pole. I think she is / was on bottom. According to her new partner's soon-to-be ex-wife, she was actually caught on top. Sounds like everything you do in this family is an open book. Dude, right? If someone in my family got divorced, I wouldn't be too surprised to hear about it months later from a random acquaintance. One of my first cousins got divorced, and I didn't hear about it for 2 years. Mayo. On the flip side, my first cousin runs around telling anyone who will listen she's divorcing the scumbag, but then posts happy pics like they're perfect. Dumbass word, my dude. Why would the cheating wife be there for this? It was her decision to divorce. My brother-in-law is still open to working things out, but she is planning on starting over with the guy she had an affair with. As poor of a decision as this seems to be, I think she realizes that she is going to have some limited contact with this side of the family over the years. Who gets the whole family together to tell them they are getting divorced? How weird. Also, anybody who makes big announcements on April 1st is just asking for it. You did nothing wrong. And who brings the cheating wife to this sort of function? By far the weirdest part. Even weirder when she criticizes others for being insensitive. I've come to notice over time that a portion of people sensitive over calling people out on negative shit is because they do it all the time. Like the cheater who freaks about their spouse cheating, or the gaslighter who accuses others of gaslighting. Honestly, people are fucking demons. Clicked on this cause the title led me to believe that you thought your own divorce was a joke. This was still a great read though. That shits on them for choosing that day. I was so glad to learn Op wasn't getting divorced, even if this doesn't affect my life in any way, shape or form. Same here, phew. But kinda funny, when you think about it, it means even clicking Op's story was enough to make us all relate to him enough that we'd rather it happen to anyone but Opus. And make us not feel as bad if it's actually his brother-in-law divorcing, even though we don't have much of a connection to either. Interesting psychology. I think for me, it has more to do that there's a very clear reason for the divorce, and besides context, maybe Bill is an abusive cheater, doubt it, but I don't know. It isn't just Op getting blindsided with a divorce notice on April Fools. I was fired on April 1st, years ago. Really, pick a different day, everyone. I got fired on Veterans Day. I'm a veteran. My boss greeted me Happy Veterans Day. BTW, you're fired. Ouch. Thanks but no thanks for your service. Thanks for your service, but it's no longer required. Why would they announce this on April Fools? It's like announcing you're pregnant. Just wait a day. Exactly what I was thinking. Apparently no one else felt this way. At the very least they should have prefaced the discussion with a very stern "This is not an April Fool's prank." Like a spoiler tag. The cheating wife berating you was just an attempt to make you seem as insensitive as her. Best would be to say sorry to those people that were most affected. People shouldn't be mad at you. Edit. Word. I'm sorry I was insensitive, you cheating bitch. Wow, I would pay money to see a meeting like this go down. Who does this? So cringy. I applaud you for doing what you did. Still laughing, 2 thumbs up. My mother-in-law has Next cameras. I know I set them up. There is actually one covering the dining room table and exterior door there. Should I ask her for the footage? Or is that another fuck up? This whole situation is fucked up. What kind of people gather everyone around to announce their divorce? And who brings in the cheating spouse to announce it? Dude, your wife's family is weird as fuck. Take it from someone in your spot. You just need to sit there and zone out forever. It doesn't always work. You'll still be blamed for shit because you're the new person, but when dealing with a weird ass family, best not to engage with them. You're never going to do well with a drama queen mother-in-law like that. Why didn't you give me this advice last week? I've never heard of a family meeting being held for something like that. My family, it would all be gossip through the grapevine. My wife's family is pretty tight, and everyone lives relatively close to each other. Pretty tight with the neighbors, too. This is amazing. I would reacted the same way. Who makes an announcement like this, and further, who makes this announcement on April 1st, of all days? Well done. I wish my wife and her family shared your sentiment. Just remind everyone that you're not the one cheating with a family friend, haha. This is what I think everyone is overlooking. Their kids are best friends. Both guilty parties plan on divorcing and remarrying apparently. This is going to be very awkward for their kids' birthdays. I'm assuming they don't plan on inviting the other side of the family. Now we just need the cheated on parties to remarry and keep the family together. That was my question to my wife. When we got home she said this was fucking weirder than my original response and berated me further. Lol, sounds like she needs to lighten up. My family motto: if you feel like crying, laugh. That's my life motto, except I add try to make others laugh. Being a white person from a very white family with Eastern Europe and Irish roots. This is some next level weird ass white people shit. You were right to laugh. I would have continued to laugh, increasing after everything they said, until I either pissed myself or excused myself, and went to the car to laugh harder. Major announcements on 4/1 are assumed false. This should be Tim posting TIFU by announcing my divorce on 4/1. I don't think anyone else in my family uses Reddit, but if this keeps gaining traction I'm sure I'll find out soon. Okay, few things. 1. Why is a cheating wife giving you shit on morality? 2. YTF did they think you would be the person to get approval from for a step couple you barely been related to for a year? 3. Mother-in-law was crying? Hello. This girl just cheating on your son and is in front of you giving some random Downy lecture on what's morally okay and not? Does your mother-in-law not care? My mother would have probably tried to tackle her by now.